We are.
I think we're live.
5,
5,
4,
5 people all the way.
3,
2,
1.
1. You are on live right now.
That's right, with Brad from the Big Family Homestead and
Kevin from Going Batty.
and hold on, let me flip
it's
it.
not done there.
We're not finished.
There you go.
We got Lee and Michelle and Kansas from Resistance Chicks. And
Well, wait a minute. Resistance Chicks and
Resistance Rooster.
and we
we
also
have also
Donna Terry
from the old folks home.
Yay! And so today we are going to be talking about basics of homesteading because we've got some urban homesteaders here. They have had serious challenges. We've got some maybe beginner homesteaders, and then we've got some people who might be mediocre. Okay, so
Did he just point that at you?
do you really?
No, he pointed it
I
back
pointed
at
it at myself.
He pointed it back at himself.
I totally knew.
All right, so here we go. First question.
Hold on, Big Family just went live. Oh, hi, Howard. Yeah.
All right, so first things first. How would you define homesteading?
Homesteading is self-reliance. It's a mindset on how you can be self-sustaining and not have to rely on electric, water, food. You grow your own food. You go to the next level on self-sufficiency.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle?
Yeah.
This is the don't talk over each other part, ladies.
Her mom
Good
was calling her.
Lord in heaven.
It was Patriot Gallery, for those of you that know.
She
It's my
must have
mother.
been. You should go tell her that we're live.
There's a door right there, sister.
I know, I'm going to hit
It's
it.
right
I
there.
You represent.
Oh my gosh.
It's
Live
chaos.
television.
Patriot Gallery.
Just go ahead and answer it. We're not doing anything. It's cool.
She doesn't even know how to answer the phone.
I'm going back over to Kevin. He pays attention.
Hey, how you doing? So, yes, homesteading
Okay,
is...
cool.
All right.
What's your version of homesteading?
Okay, my version of homesteading is trusting in God and doing whatever you can on whatever plot of land you have, even if you have a balcony, to work with what He's given you and what He created on this earth to bless us with.
Amen. Heather, what would you add to this
That
conversation?
one was pretty good.
Stop it!
Ditto.
Well,
Ditto.
no, I mean, like with Kevin, it's doing what you can with what you have and learning how to be not so dependent on, you know, what if there's not something at the grocery store? Well,
Right.
if there's no cucumbers at the grocery store, I can go in my backyard and get them because I've got them planted there.
And if there's no pickles at the grocery store, you can go to your cucumbers and then make pickles like this lady.
And she makes some banging pickles.
They're killing. They're awesome.
So now here's another lady who has not, I don't know if you would call yourself a homesteader, Donna, but she's been farming forever, right?
Oh, yeah?
Yes, and I just think it's being self-sufficient, but what we have here is a community of like-mindedness.
Awesome.
Nice.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Nice.
I like
All right, how would you define homesteading?
Wow, for me, a homesteaded mindset is you're willing to do whatever it takes to get things done by yourself, and then you call for help.
Yeah.
Like that. And then you go to the grocery store. But you're trying to do things by yourself. You're reading your books. You're trying to figure things out. Trying to be self-contained. You know. Things
Nice. Well, I'm going to go visit Claire real quick. She's our mighty troll slayer. You guys make yourself at home, comfortable, and I'll be right back because I've got some questions for you. All right.
Okay, everybody, hide.
On your mark, get set, hide. Hey, Mumsy.
Hi.
You got to come in with us.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
I'm taking this.
No, you said you were gonna stay in. You were gonna be in here, so I came
We
in
changed. What's your version of homesteading?
Making sure that you can grow and raise everything that you can to feed your family.
Okay. Claire, our mighty troll slayer. See? She's over here slaying mega trolls.
Yeah,
How's your day?
it's great.
Well, here's the question I have for you. Now, you know that we've been through about 7 years of trying to be self-sufficient.
Yeah.
What do you think one of the benefits would have been?
Having a cow and being able to have actually good tasting milk that's good for you, and it's good.
Well, tell me why. What
Why
do you
is
like?
it
Because
good?
what did you like about having Harriet when she was here? The cow.
Well, one of the really cool things is I would get to milk
And so I would go out there, and that'd kind of be my time, and I could just calm down and relax, and I would sing to our cow. And so whenever Mama or Hope would come out, I'd be like, do you really? I just want to do it by myself. Let me do it by myself. Because it's just a good time.
She's selfish. She's taking
Oh, no. Well, I'm going to come back. Hey, old Alabama gardener. Hi, he says hello to Claire.
Hello.
Okay, I'm going to go back and see the other folks. But Mama, I'm going to have to ask you questions since you're refusing to come in and be a part of the events.
I'm a troglodyte.
She is a troglodyte. Okay. So here we go. We're going back to visit the other folks. I guess my definition of homesteading would have to be using what is available to you to be as self-sufficient as you can absolutely be. Not just with food and water, but with skills. And I think that's a whole other thing that a lot of homesteaders forget, is that a skill is something you carry with you even if you don't have tools. And once you figure out those skills, they'll carry you through a whole lot more. So here we go. Let's go back and see the other guys there. All right. Oops. Switching the camera view. All right. Oh, they decided to stand anyway. Oh my gosh. What do we got going on here? Sit down.
We're sitting down.
And here's Grace.
Here's Grace, the birthday girl.
She's a hot dog.
Get that one. Or we could go sit on the couch over there and get back and see.
We're supposed to be
You remind me of like, we have a broody hen, and she's sitting on eggs, but all the other hens want to come in and lay eggs where she is, and she ain't moving, right? They come in and like sit on her.
You
and
can have
they will lay
5
the
chickens
eggs sitting sideways, and then they get back up, and it's just kind of, she ain't moving, and she's doing her broody thing, and we're gonna let her hatch them out.
I've got one that's got a string of eggs like this. Now she can't sit on all the eggs, right? So she'll be at this end at one time and this end. And she's been on for like 4 months.
No way.
Those eggs are not gonna happen.
Oh, that's foul. Those things are probably
think she
getting
has-
fermented and ready to.
Don't open them. If you have an enemy, keep them. You know, put them in a little case, and then don't shoot people. If you throw one of those eggs at them, they'll die.
I think she's got like a
Absolutely.
mental problem.
that side.
All right. So here we go. First question of the evening is going to go to the Resistance Chicks. So ladies, say hi.
Hey.
Okay.
Hey.
They have an excellent channel, and if you don't already subscribe to them, boo on you, and you should. So here's the thing. You guys are straight up in an urban situation.
Yep.
You are right in the middle of a city that's fairly wealthy.
Yes.
And there are a lot of people around you that are wealthy.
Yep.
You have pigs. You have chickens.
Yep.
You have all kinds of stuff.
We have bees.
How did you get away with it?
I'll tell you, well, it's a long story. I'm going to make it really short. That property that we're on has been in my family for years. And it's kind of like one of those really bad movies where, like, here's one little farm, and then there's another house, and then when my mom grew up, it was just all farms. So then, like, all the subdivisions around us. Well, Ohio has a thing. So when they started to incorporate townships, it was called the Don't Zone Me Out Law, and it's Ohio 51921. And nobody had a problem with it until this guy, built this rather large monstrosity
McMansion
behind us, and
just because society's changed doesn't mean.
Hold on, wait, come on over here to Kansas.
Gotta bring the fancy swivel camera over here.
Come on, just because
just because society's changed doesn't mean that we necessarily have to change, because any animal that you can think of, they were probably at one point raising on this property. Like our cousin lives next door, and she grew up with pigs.
So you're calling her an animal?
No, she's a lady, but she likes the pigs. And
Okay, cool. So let's continue on. More of the story.
yeah.
More of
So
the story.
exactly what Matt said was that the Don't Zone Me Out Law was
Gives
because
us permission to do pretty much anything agriculturally.
right.
On our, we have a little over an acre. And we had neighbors that decided that they wanted to contest that, but they also came out, they didn't like the way our property looked. They didn't like the cattle trailer in the backyard. You know what, I can kind of understand that. But they made little nitpicky things. Their gas cans were being left out, which they weren't, which is a big fat lie. long story short,
Make sure you don't run out of gas when you're mowing.
yeah, the city gave up the fight. They said, we're not going to fight it anymore. And then they tried to get a lawyer and realized that was going to cost them too much money. So how did we, the short of it is, God. That's how we got it.
Okay, the long of it is there is an Ohio law. If you live in a township, you can do anything you want agriculturally.
Because we were prayerfully in it. I mean, you guys felt it, I'm sure. When the devil comes at you and you can't eat, you can't sleep, you're nervous all the time, when it really boils down to this. If God has called you to homestead, he will equip you or set you where you're supposed to be.
There's a scripture that the Lord gave me when we went into the township, and he said, I've opened a door for you that no man can shut. And it was Ohio 5:19-21 for us having a township. I mean, this was a ironclad. It's written in Ohio rules, Trump township rules. So if you're in Ohio and you want to keep animals, if you want to build barns, you don't need a permit. If you're in a township and you're doing it for ag. If you have 5 acres or more and you're in Ohio, you're good to go. But if you have less than 5 acres and you're in a township, you can get pigs, you can get chickens, you can do anything you want.
As long as you're not in a subdivision.
As long as you're not in a if you're in a township and you're not in a, I should really
don't go into that detail. Just
platted. If you're not in a platted subdivision, the subdivisions were built around us. So if you're in an area that was there before subdivisions were even conceivable.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So going over here to Big Daddy T-Bone, we're going to call him T-Bone today.
Yes,
because, oh my gracious. Wait a minute, here, this is going.
The light's going away.
Just, you're too bad. And she messed up our live stream. I totally did. Okay, we'll try that again. Danny and Wanda from Deep South Homestead. Wanda was just trying to call, but she probably doesn't know we're live. So here's the question I have for you. You're our straight up year into homesteading. Now,
right.
what has been the biggest hurdle that you've encountered so far?
Well, the biggest hurdle that I've encountered is myself. Realizing that we can do this stuff. The successes and failures are based on what we challenge ourselves to do. So the very first year that we really took it seriously, Heather came back with this incredible garden. And we started getting eggs that we could not even believe from our chickens. We started gaining knowledge. We really took the posture of learning, and I can't highlight that enough. That as you come into something new like homesteading, you have to take the posture of learning, because it was so important to me that we have a community around us to show us how to do this homesteading thing. And that's how we got connected to Big Family Homestead. That's how we got connected to the Resistance Chicks.
Well, that's not true. That's not true.
Oh, Heather says,
physically.
Okay, so
physically.
Here's a little backstory. I have known Leah and Michelle, but Leah more because we were in youth group together.
She was my youth leader.
Yeah, and then like I worked with Michelle when Michelle was actually in middle school.
Yep.
So and
we go way back to the Stone Ages.
It's funny because like I hadn't spoke to them. I actually had sent you a message saying, I don't know if you remember me.
That's ridiculous.
Because it had been probably 15 years.
Let's not think about it, man.
And so, but as we started learning new stuff, they were actually the ones, and I have to give props to Matt, because Matt was so patient with my boys when we asked them, can we come over and help you butcher your chickens? Like, who asked that of people?
I love it.
People.
I love it.
And so, they're like, yeah, come on over. Let's show you how to do it. And then, they had the chicken plucker, and and my boys.
And Kevin just manned up, man. I mean, they had already done a couple of kills, right? But he really wanted to do the eviscerating,
to do it right. And so, and Matt was there showing my boys, like putting them in the cone and showing them how to do it. Okay, now you take it over here and you dip it in the water. You put them in the chicken plucker, and and us girls were busy like I can't do the deed. I can't send them to meet Jesus, but I sure can't pull their guts out.
I got. I really have no problem with it.
And you're in. And I was so impressed because the little guys, Miles and Jack, were like, hook me up with a knife. I'm ready.
Although I don't like to send them to meet Jesus either. However, there were a couple of times where Miles or Jack didn't get the cut right, and I'm watching a chicken kind of suffer to death. So I'm like, give me the knife. Just get the chicken dead. Okay?
You know, it is funny because oh no, we don't chop their heads off. No, you let them bleed out. It's the best thing. The heart keeps pumping, and that way it doesn't hurt them. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't hurt them.
You're not a chicken.
Donna Terry's over there getting on my case about this thing. So I got to tell you what, we actually will say a prayer. We get together and we say a prayer and we thank God for the bounty that He's provided us, and we pray that we're accurate and that the animals go through the absolute least amount of pain possible. And I think there's honor in that.
Yes.
So Donna Terry, who's been farming forever and clearly doesn't like what we're doing. Tell me what is one of the hardest challenges to run a farm?
Ooh. At this point, because of my age, it would be gardening because of the heat. I used to do it. I used to make the jelly, did all that stuff, and now it's just...
She is fibbing to you. I have seen her climb up in the hayloft, throw down bales of hay. This chick is a rock star.
There's no hot sun in my barn.
Wow. So, okay, so you're just saying the physical aspect of it.
Right, at my age, yes. But it is wonderful, wonderful, a wonderful life if you're at the age where you can do it.
All right, so ladies, question here for you, all three of you. What are some of the biggest perks that you've found as you've gone through this lifestyle change?
The honey. We just got honey.
That's not a lifestyle change.
The honey. Ooh,
I like honey.
So that was, I'm sorry, we didn't have to go to the store. You don't have to go to the store to buy something. And then realizing how much things cost in the store, certain things like maple syrup.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
real
seriously, you know, we boiled down a freezer full of maple syrup sap and got like 2 quarts. And we're just like, nobody touch it.
It is cool.
Touch it. We had a friend of ours, she called my mom today and she said, I went to the store and honey was $10, so I need a jar of honey. And I'm going, hang on, honey, because I don't care how much your honey was at the store. You get a pint. All of our friends get a very small amount, and that's it. Then you get cut off. Okay. But I think for me the biggest perk is the physical rewards from eating healthy and actually being out there doing the work like Donna was talking about, because we don't go to the gym. You know, like if you've never seen those Kansas guys, they have that little song, we work outside, because you really do get your workout by doing, and it's enjoyable, like little tasks like weeding. I used to hate weeding.
That's why I can climb into a barn loft at my age, kick my legs up high. It's because I'm cleaning stalls every day. I'm physical. Maybe there's some things that I can no longer do, but I'm not just vegetating and sitting on the couch. And no, I don't have to.
Look at this woman.
Work too much.
She doesn't go to the gym, but she is
place.
in shape. She's been in better shape than 99% of women.
I'm fairly certain she would beat my butt.
I'm completely certain.
Yeah. You know, for us, I think one of the huge things is the connection that we're teaching to our kids to their food. That they're a part of it. They help us dig in the garden. They help us plant. They help us harvest. We can't keep Ruth off of our little cherry pear tomatoes. She won't. She doesn't. She's no respecter. She just eats them all. And the fact that they know that you better eat all that chicken because you know what went into it. And it's valuable. It's not something you throw away. It's not something you take lightly. And so for that, it's a huge life lesson. And it's a lesson that most people don't understand. They just think their food comes from a styrofoam thing in a box at the store. And I'm hoping that what we're doing here, all of us here, is going to help change that, because it's a wasteful, shameful, bad stewardship way to live.
That's a really good thing. It is.
One thing about it, I think it teaches us, because now I'm into this, just let me see how inexpensively I could prepare these meals and how many meals I can get out of
It is I start to giggle because Kevin will give me a certain amount of money for groceries, and
make it happen, woman.
Well, and I sit there, and I go, okay, so how little of this can I really spend and feed us? And I do feed us. It's not like my kids are like, can we have some more, please? You know, right, Kevin?
We're not wasting away by any
and
oh, sorry, sorry.
But I think for me, it was that, like, we had a period where it was like, okay, I don't want to be dependent on just my husband's salary in order to feed my family.
Wow.
And so when I started with just the little tiny garden and I was able to grow something, I was like, I can do this, you know. And then we moved to something bigger, and I'm like, okay, I can do this. And like, you know, and I was talking with Leah. I said we had some setbacks in our garden, like some things just completely like pooped out on us.
It happens to the best of us.
But I tried something new again this year, and it's doing really well. And so to know that as a stay-at-home mom, I know what my job is and I know what my role is, but sometimes there's that little bit of, am I contributing to the family? And when it comes to that food, you know, like I know I'm contributing something. I know that, and like it's funny because Katie sometimes is like, Mommy, I can taste when the love is in this food. You know, and that's what it is. It's like, I love my children, I love my husband, and I want to give back to them, and that's how I do it with the gardening and the canning and the, you know, taking a chicken and making 4 meals out of it.
And you make things too. You sew and you crochet and you make other things besides just food.
Well, and that's something that I was just talking with Kevin about over here, is learning skills. And he was saying that one of the things that he wants to get on his schedule soon is learning how to
weld.
Yep.
Yeah. You know, it's what I was saying earlier about community is no joke, because there's some things that I just don't know how to do. And when Big Family Homestead and Going Batty started hanging out with one another, we had the ability to glean from Big Family Homestead things that we had never done. We had the ability to glean from the Resistance Chicks things that we had never done. I had never even dreamed of butchering a chicken, and now I can do it with pretty well. We do it often, and it's important to me because of that food connection that Brad talked about.
Hog too.
Yeah, you can do a hog, right?
Yeah,
they did hogs with us recently.
Moved up to the gun butchering.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you butcher a gun?
Stop.
Butchering with the gun.
One of the things that we are doing is hopefully encouraging one another, and Kansas, who is just a godly man, can do some incredible things. He's soft-spoken, and he won't always, well, he'll show you. Let me tell you, he's awesome. But he's willing to share that trade with me so that we can get things done on the homestead when we need it. Now, I just think that's so important. And I don't know how we'll give back to the Resistance Chicks and how we give back to Big Family Homestead.
You already have.
But we're so blessed that we're able to learn all of these things.
Awesome. Now, ladies, here, question for me. Here, let me go to me for a second. Because it can flip around, you know. It can flip around. So here's the thing. A lot of you guys know my opinion is that I believe God's calling us to get self-reliant because there's something big on the way. I can't put my finger on it. About everybody I talk to knows that they feel something inside them that God's preparing us for something. And I'm taking that very seriously, not just for my family, but for my friends and people around, and you guys. That's one of the main reasons why we do this. And I just wanted to throw it out there because it seems like everybody I talk to disconnected from me. You know, they could be, you know, on the other side of the country. It's like about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, people started getting switched on and going, oh my gosh, I need to start learning this stuff. And then they'll talk to me and they'll be like, wait a minute, you have chickens? Because they only know me from a rock and roll background and recording studio background. And I wanted to see if you guys have any comments on that, any similar things.
We have
every day
I get emails, messages, and talking to people in person. Everybody is feeling the same thing, and I think me with my sci-fi background, Lee and I, our eyes locked when you said about 5 or 6 years ago we got switched on, and it does feel like a movie where all of us that were listening to the Holy Spirit, it was kind of like an internal switching on. Even if you couldn't do anything right away, you felt it like, whoa.
I need to get ready.
I need to get ready. I need to be doing it. And one of the scriptures that keeps, and I'm gonna mess up where this was at. It's in Daniel, I think, where it talks about when I don't think that we're in the end times. We could be, but regardless, whenever these kinds of things come, the body is saved. Right? And we can look at the children of Israel for that when the plagues came. And it says not only will we be saved, but we will prosper. And so in this situation, I feel like we're being made ready so that we can prosper and we can be protected and we can be provided for.
He who has ears to hear, let him hear.
Right.
And what's funny is everybody's like, I know you felt it, but I don't know at all. What am I going to do
kind of
if something
panic.
happens? Like,
Yes.
I'm not
That's
ready.
not what God's asking you to do. God isn't asking you to be 100% ready. He's asking you to be willing
to be ready.
To be ready.
You know what? You do what you can do. At my age, you know what I'm doing? I'm thriving up.
Yeah.
I'm getting to thrive.
I love it.
That's my emergency right there.
Yeah, well, let me explain. The Going Batty channel, as well as we do, it's a freeze-dried food company called Thrive Life Foods. And I'm not going to make this into a commercial, but if you're interested, there's links down below, and it's the best in the business. So, end of the commercial. But let's go back to, here's the next part of this question. Because, when I talk to my buddies from all over, it's the same story. Everybody's going, you know what? If something were to happen, I couldn't feed my family.
Right.
If something were to happen, you know, how about this? Like, let's not even talk conspiracy land. Let's not talk crazy Alex Jones. I've got, you know, my tinfoil hat out. But a lot of what he has to say is true. So, however,
We agree. We do.
I know. I just wish that guy would calm the crap down.
Yeah, I agree. He gets his spit flying and his jaw
But
shaking.
exactly.
Switch to
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. No matter if you feel like there is, like, you know, Nirubu or Nibiru is coming to get you. The Planet X. If you think that, that's fine and great, and if that's why you're prepping, great. But I'll tell you what. There are, you know, natural disasters happen all the time.
Yeah.
What about the power grid? Everybody knows there's a big problem with the power grid. How about this? You know, here's okay. I'm gonna get on the soapbox for a second. Okay, the electrical system. How about this? Nuclear power plants. Most of them were designed to be not working by now. Not working by now. Yet they're still working. Well, what do they do with that stuff? Does it just keep going until there's a problem? Or do they shut them down and they put that stuff somewhere else? That's just one of a million possibilities. EMP. Yeah. Well, and so back to you ladies. Oops, no, I cut it up. What made you start? Because I'll tell you what, for us, we prepped first.
Right.
And now we don't call ourselves preppers anymore. We're kind of like prep-steaders.
Right. I like that.
Yeah. So what made you guys go, oh my gosh, we got to get going?
I think that honestly we were more homesteaders and then kind of preppy. Pop
that collar. Pop the collar.
You know, it was funny because like in high school I lived in an apartment and my mom was a single mom and she had plants on the balcony. She put little carrot seeds in there, and one day I went out and I thought I was pulling weeds on a third story. You're not gonna get weeds. I didn't know this. So I pulled out and I'm like, it's a carrot, and I was hooked. I was like, it's a carrot, it's a carrot. I went around, I was like, I heard carrot, there's a carrot, it's a carrot. And then we lived in some apartments, and we just kind of had little apartment balconies. And then we moved in to take care of my grandma, and I went outside and I was like, I have land. And I was like, I gotta plant this place. I don't know what I gotta do. And it was just in my bones.
Right. Because I found that it's to me, the Word of God comes alive. Whether you're reading Old Testament or New Testament, every comparison, every parable.
I am the vine, you are the branches. Apart from me, you cannot do nothing.
And when you read Deuteronomy 28, the things that he talks about blessing.
Blessed in the field, blessed the fruit of the womb, blessed in your cattle, blessed in this. And so like, for me, it was more spiritual because I saw that the blessings that God was doing for people was heavily in the organic realm.
Right.
Because if you can have, like us, we raise pigs. I can put a male pig and a female pig, and suddenly I got 11 more pigs. But if I have like a computer, I can look at a computer all I want. It's not gonna have another baby computer. You know what I mean?
I actually, there's ways to do things now.
Apart from some human intervention.
Let's let Heather take this one.
It was interesting because again, like back to when I had sent you an email saying like, hey, do you remember me? And one of the things that I remember you saying was she had at one time she'd spent the night at my house.
Yes.
And we had gone over to my grandparents.
Right.
Now my grandfather had a house, but he had actually dug the basement.
Yeah.
Way after the house was built. And it was kind of like a root cellar.
Yeah.
And he had all the canned goods. They had all the canned goods in there. And I remember her saying to me,
Yeah.
she goes, I remember being in your grandmother's basement.
Right.
And I totally didn't even remember taking her there. And she goes, and seeing shelves of green beans.
Yeah.
And going, I would like to have shelves of green beans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I just
had
thought
never seen canned goods. That was the
Yeah.
first time I'd ever seen canned goods.
And I had experienced it most of my life
Right.
because we did that all the time. Like
Right.
there was, my parents had a big garden, my grandparents had a big garden, and there were like sections of the summer that were just blocked off because we're doing sauerkraut and we're doing tomatoes and
It's a
we're
lot
doing
of work.
beans and we're doing, you know, all of that kind of
Applesauce.
stuff. And, you know, and that was something that was, for the longest time I thought everybody did that. And then I realized, like,
The first time we
everyone
went
doesn't do
to
that.
our neighbor, she mentioned applesauce. The first
Yeah.
time our neighbor had these apple trees, she wasn't picking them. I was like, I'm gonna get those apples. I picked those apples, and when you grow up kind of in the city and you've never picked a piece of fruit, like we did, like off a tree, like we'd always got blackberry picking, but it's like an apple. I'm gonna eat this. It's like, and then you just want to go out and just eat these apples because they're like there. You're like, this is so much cooler than at the store, man. It's like food outside. It's awesome. And so like I made applesauce. I was like, I can't believe I made this. It gets addicting. Doesn't it, Brad?
Oh my gosh,
Applesauce
yes.
with the best apples, and you don't even have to put sugar in it. You know,
Right,
some cinnamon,
exactly.
some butter.
It gets addicting
You know.
to realize
It
I can do
is.
this. I can do this. I can
And
do
then
this.
making apple butter. My daughter, I got her the other day. She had a jar of apple butter, and she was eating it for breakfast with a spoon, just right out of the jar. And I'm
What?
like, sweetheart.
Well, and
Well-
I gotta make a plug for homeschooling because it reminds me of that. And no offense to any teachers, but when you realize, oh, I could make applesauce at home, and you're like, I've been lied to by moms, right? That they're the only ones that can do it.
Yep.
So like on the schools, they lie to you. I'm sorry that they're the only ones that can teach. We've got homeschoolers here, and then you realize I can do this.
Yeah.
I can do this. I can do this. It's cool when you realize you can do it.
Yep. And I gotta say, guys, we're gonna go ahead and call it because Deep South Homestead's coming on live right about now, and we want to be respectful of their time.
Yes.
Because Danny and Wanda are awesome, and so when we're done, go on over there. But I wanted to say thank you to the Resistance Chicks,
Thanks for having us.
and of course Heather, and dun dun dun. Oh, my thing isn't working. There we go. King Louie over there, going Daddy. And Donna Terry, and you guys were asking about her. She doesn't have a channel. She's just an awesome lady, and she comments a lot.
Oh, yeah, I love to
She's a
talk.
huge support, prayer
Yeah.
support, all kinds of
She
support.
was one of our first people that started commenting on our videos.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, so good night to everybody. Go on over to Deep South. You guys have an amazing evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye!